Hi guys, thank you so much for joining in the second Masterclass series session, and we are going to work it out in terms of the other things. If you all would remember that last week we worked on the different CVs, right, from data analyst to business analyst to digital marketing, and there was a couple of CVs that we could not review. So we'll see that if we can do it today. And if we can't do it today, in that case, I will request all these guys that I will send my email ID and you can send your CVs to me. I'll give you a personalized session in terms of your reviews. Okay, so that's something we'll do. I'll try to see that because whether we will be able to cover up those the remaining CVs or not. But all the CVs that will come back to me, I'll just going to review that. Okay, so that's one thing. And quickly, in the last week, as I discussed before, that we discussed about the CV writing styles, what we need to do, add in the CVs, how we need to write the backup methods, how we need to get the results and the KPIs, how we need to write the projects, and how we need to write the career summaries. And I'll just a quick recap that we discussed in the career summaries that 5 points: who you are, what are you selling, what is your key skills, how do you differentiate from the crowd, and the most importantly, how you can contribute to the next organization. These are the 5 things that needs to be mentioned in your career summary. Career summary needs to be followed by your skills and not by your education unless you are a fresher. If you're a fresher, then it needs to be focused by career summary needs to be followed by your education background, universities, and other things. But if you have an experience of 3 years or more, it just needs to go in a way that your skills will be followed up by your career summary. And then you'll talk about your experience. So Irish market is known to appreciate the experience and less a bit less on your education background. So we then talked about the projects, that if you're talking about the project, ensure that you talk about the problem statement, that what is the problem statement that you're working on, how did you solve that problem, and what kind of results did it generate. So that's what we discussed last time. Today, we are going to discuss about your networking. Today, we are going to discuss about your job strategy. And we are going to discuss about the mistakes that most of the people make while making the job applications. All we are trying to answer the question is that why you are not getting the employer's attention. Why are you not getting any kind of response on your CVs, on your applications, and what are the reasons behind it? So before we go further, I would like to introduce two guest speakers that I have today. Absolutely great mentors, absolutely great personalities. I was personally inspired by these two people. And I'll introduce Hema first, Hema Manoj. Well, I'll give all the time to introduce Manoj by himself. So he works on Facebook, Meta, and he has got a very inspiring story to share on. And next is Amit. Amit works in JP Morgan, and he has got a very rich experience. Thanks, Amit. And Amit has got a very rich experience in working in big brands like AWS and others. And the purpose that I have requested, and they have accepted my invite on this, and rather I would say that they have volunteered to join this, is to help you guys. This is, as I said before, that this is a non-monetary sessions, and these people who have come over here is just on the basis of their intense desire to help their fellow mates. Because all the people, for example, let's take about Amit or Hema, they all and myself, we all have been into your stage when we came to Ireland to study. So we are going to talk about, all three of us is going to talk about that how we did the things, what kind of difficulties Manoj had, what kind of words of advice Amit will have to talk to you guys. You would also have get some time to question each one of us of the individuals on that. But I would say that let's carry on with this and then let's keep the momentum going. If in case you need further help with myself, Hema, or Amit, feel free to connect with any of these. You can also connect with Career Island team if you need to have any personalized sessions with anyone. It will depend upon what is the availability that we could have. Okay, so that's something that we'll do. And if more people will put on the camera, it will be a good opportunity to put a face against the name, especially if you have any questions or anything. All right. Okay, good enough. And I'll start with Hema first. Hema Manoj, if you can just give a quick introduction to the team and then followed by Amit, and then we'll quickly start our session.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Raghav. Hey everyone, this is Hema Manoj. I currently work with Meta as a data analyst. I primarily work on algorithms that reduce spam within Meta platforms if you're using them. And previously, I worked with entity data back in India, and then I moved here during the pandemic year 2020 to Ireland for my master's. And later that I joined with Google in a contracting position again, like as a data analyst in their sales operations wing. That's pretty much a short introduction about me. And then once again, thank you so much, Raghav, for organizing this. It's really good, to share, what worked for us and then what didn't work for us with the folks that are currently in this job market.
That's great. Thank you, Manoj. Abid, if you could help us with your introduction, that will be a great thing.
Thanks, Raghav. Thanks, Hema. And first of all, before I start my introduction, I want to thank and appreciate Raghav's efforts, which what he has been putting into this initiative. So I think let's give him a round of applause before I start my introduction, because this is a, as Raghav said, non-monetary event. Um, but yeah, so I work as a senior lead architect in cloud and cybersecurity space for JP Morgan, where I primarily work on building cybersecurity solutions for JP Morgan for the firm. Um, I have been here in JP Morgan from October 2023, and before that, I spent my time at AWS working as solutions architect for around one and a half year. And in solutions architect role, I was into a customer facing role where I was consulting with a lot of Irish startup customers and talking to C-suite executives to understand what business challenges they have and how AWS Cloud can solve those business challenges. In I moved to Ireland in about I think December 2019, and from then I've been into JP Morgan, AWS, and then back to JP Morgan. So that's my summary. Um, yeah, I'll back to you.
Okay, so just before I go the agenda of this, I'll first talk about your job search plan and the strategy. But before that, I have a small question to both of you, Manoj and Amit. So Manoj and Amit, both you both had been have got who are quite a seasoned people. Did you face the same problem that you are not getting calls, people are not appreciating your profile, you are at the bottom of your confidence, or when you're applying for hundreds of jobs? Although I can understand that job market in 2019, 2018 was way different than job market in 2024. So you guys have much more challenges over here. But did you face the same things?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Amit.
Go
I'm
ahead,
happy.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So, yeah, when I came here during 2020, right, I graduated in 2021, which is a pandemic year, although, few people argue with me that the job market was better then, believe me that I have applied to more than 6,000 and then 7,000 jobs, in my job search tenure. And then at first I used to mass apply to every single job I find in LinkedIn. I don't even look at the job description. I had 8 to 10 different CVs for from software development to testing everything, because I thought at least if I could speak to one recruiter out there, I can literally convince them to go for me, is what I thought. I don't know what I was thinking then, right? I'm not from a very good college back in India. I came here with a good with 3.5 years of job experience in India. I worked from data projects to a lot of other projects in India, and I thought I could land in any one of these roles. And that's one of the biggest mistake I've done with my career. What it did with me was that it nullified whatever confidence I had in me. I thought I'm absolute bad at everything, especially um, I used to apply for even for internships, and then they used to reject me, without even looking at my email. Even first, so every morning I used to get at least some 5 to 10 rejections, and the highest, the hottest being I've applied to a job, and then I could even receive an email. I thought I within within a minute. I thought it's just an acknowledgement email. It's not even an acknowledgement email. They outright rejected me within a minute. I felt very bad, and then I was at my lowest in my career, and then stuff like that. But then Google happened. I would share that story in long. I don't want this
Okay,
answer.
okay. Sure. It seems like a very interesting story. I'll keep up your time for that. And Amit, I'm sure you would also have such kind of things, that not getting any calls at the bottom of something, and then you came out. Maybe I'll just park it aside when you'll have your story to share it over here.
Sure.
So I'll quickly go back and I'll finish up a few things from me before handing over to Amit and Hima. Job. So there are four basic building blocks of job acquisitions. When people come back to me saying that, Raghav, review my CV, a large number of times the problem is not with their CV. Yes, the CV would have a problem. First of all, Just stop considering CV as a CV. I see that people pay extremely large attention on the CV itself, which is good and bad both. Good because the CV is the first step towards your journey, but this is only the first step. This is not the last step. And if you are not completed your last step with the job acquisition, you are becoming zero again, because till the time you don't finish it off, there's no point of start. But if you don't have a good start, you can't finish off. So CV, I would say that it's a 25% of the overall 100 mark that you have. The first 25 is CV, and CV is never a CV. For a job acquisition purposes or for the purpose of applying for a job, CV is not a CV, guys. Consider that CV is not a compilation of your education, your experience, knowledge, and skills. If you are thinking of that CV is a compilation of these things, then you are not having a right mindset. A CV is not that document. A CV is a sales pitch. A CV is always a sales pitch, and it has to be taken like a sales pitch, that you are selling the product which is of yourself. For example, if Ishan is writing a CV and he's sending to someone, he needs to think from the employer's mind. If I am selling my services to you, I need to think about your point, that what do you want? It's never about you. CV is never about you. And 99% of the people make this mistake. They make the CV about themselves. No, the CV has to be made as per the requirements of the employers. What do they want? How can you contribute to their success? And this is where people make a large number of mistakes. Maybe in the later part of this thing,
Okay,
is
let's join.
is
Bichar,
Mahima there on the call? Mahima, you're there?
Bichar, yeah.
No? Okay. So Mahima pinged me and she wanted her CV to be reviewed, and I wanted one volunteer. So I'll see that if Mahima is there, I'll take her CV and talk about this, that what people usually do mistakes in terms of considering the CV from their end and not from the employer's mind. Okay. So CV is not a compilation of skills, knowledge, summary, and your education. It is a sales pitch. You need to write the CV based on what you can contribute to people. As I said in my last session, you are not looking for the opportunity. You are the opportunity for people. Keep this in mind and always try to make sure in your CV is what you have to contribute. And we'll take a specific example for that in the later this session. But coming back to the point again, the first building block of a successful jobs acquisition is your CV. Now let's move back to second block. What is the second block? People have a Sometimes people have a good CV, but still they don't get a job. If you are very much confident, and many times I get the CVs which are really well written, not so much well, but still they are really well written. They should have got the jobs. They should have got at least few interview calls, but they get none. So I've got responses like this: 500 job applied. Although Manoj has broken all the records, because the highest I learned from people was 900 jobs. That someone applied for 900 jobs, and after that, either he got the job or he went back to India. So, or maybe any other home country. Okay, so Manoj has broken all the records, and I can expect that why he has broken all my records with 7,000 jobs. I didn't do that much. So, in my journey, when I was studying at Trinity, the key thing that I changed over here is I came back from a very big organization, back from US, and I was on a sabbatical. I was already doing a good job, and I was on sabbatical over here. So waiting for, and from at that time we had this option of 1 year. So I guess at that time we did not have the 1 year option, 2 year option. This 2 year option was changed. We only had 1 year at that time. So if you study here, then you only get 1 year. You don't get 2 years. Unlike you guys, privileged that you have 2 years. We had only 1 year. So I did not have this choice of staying back for 1 year and then looking forward for jobs, because I only had a one sabbatical. The day my college was about to end, I had to join back to the US back again for my organization, because I did not have the leaves. So I had to burn the bridges that my college was about to finish in August, and I had to join on 27th of August back to my work in US. I did not have the option of September, October, or November or anything. Otherwise, I would have lost a stable job, and I did not know that whether I'll get a job over here or not. Job market was okay, but not very good either. Nikhil, if you can just go back on mute, that will be great. So, what the point that I'm trying to convey is that I came here with the mindset that learning and earning should go simultaneously. I did not do any part-time jobs. The key reason is that because I was working already in the US, I was full of cash. So I did not have the survival mode. So I had a benefit that I did not have to do the part-time job because I had cash in hand. but that helped me in terms of doing more certifications to me. So any certifications that you can think of, I repeat myself, any certification that you could think of in the technology sector, in the business sector, in project management sector, in data sector, I had all of them. I was fast. So one quick thing that you guys note down is that if you want to get to the job, you need to be fast and the furious. I'm not talking about the movie, but I'm talking about the concept of getting fast and aggressive. So the day I landed in September first week or something. And the day I landed, I had a conversation with my seniors that what they are doing in, and I found that except for one or two of my seniors, everybody was jobless. So sometimes having a invitation of a danger gives your ears a fruit, and you are more prepared for the things to come in. And I remember that if my seniors have not got the jobs, maybe I would end up the same fate, and I need to change that. And what I did over that, the first thing I did, that is the first agenda of this call today, that job search plan. If you don't have a job search plan, you are missing out a very big thing. And what should be a job search plan? There should be a long term and a short term plan. I had a long term plan first, right in the September, that if I have to get a job in next August, what I have to do. And I started with my job search plan with a list of certification with a priority order, that which certification I need to do and how much money I need to invest on that. Good thing was that I have a lot of time because I did not do the part times. So I did all my certifications and I connected with all the people who had been my seniors in the last 5 years. I connected with all the people who were doing the job that I wanted to do. I connected with all those people. When I say connected, I sent a request to 10 people, only one person accepted that. But I sent it for thousands of people. LinkedIn blocked my account for, for a certain period because he considered that I'm doing a spam. You don't do that spam, it's wrong. Okay. But if you know someone through some common connections, do that. And I was very shameless in terms of approaching people. If I was getting some my neighbors, or if I'm getting someone in the Lewis, or if I'm got someone I used to talk and I to talk about what do they do, if there is anything that they could do, I reach out to my professors, and I did a lot of things. The good thing was that I was going passive with my other things, but from April I started looking forward for active jobs and job applications. The good thing was that by the first week of July, I had 6 job offers from one of the top companies. And one of the key reasons I'm going to talk about now, the short term strategy plan that I started with April onwards. The short term strategy plan is making a 12-week job search aggression plan. The 12-week aggression plan, it means that you first make a job tracker. That's the number one thing that you need to have. Every other goddamn job that you want to apply, even if you want to apply like Manoj, 7,000 jobs, Excel rows have 10, Excel sheet has 10 lakh rows, so you can utilize all of them. So, so my condition was that I used to go back on LinkedIn and see that what are the number of jobs available in the past 24 hours, and it had to be zero. So any job that has come in the last 24 hours, I would have applied for them. Relevant jobs. The second thing I did is I make a 12-week plan. After making a job strategy document in which I noted down what date the job was rolled down, what time I applied, how much it was gap between the job rollout and myself, what was the CV that I customized. I embed that CV into the file so that if I get a rejection, I can compare the job description and I could compare my CV as well. That I would talk about who is the recruiter, who is the hiring manager there. Is there someone in my connection who can connect me with the hiring manager directly and I can go back to him? Is there, I used to write the personalized note to all the recruiters, and I used to write down that whether it is CPL, Repario, or anyone who the recruiters are. If they are recruiters, I used to get the number in email ID, used to call them the next very day. So basically what I was doing is I was selling myself extremely hard. Sometimes it go bad, but at times it works as well. Sometimes when you are hard seller, at least you are going to get into one job, and I needed it, that if you can get one job, it's all that needs. Just a quick question. What is the probability? Everybody would answer that question, that what is the probability of getting hard heads when you toss a coin? It's 50%. What is the probability of getting heads in either first attempt or second attempt when you toss a coin twice? It is more than 50%. What is the probability when you toss a coin 3 times and you get a head in any of the three? tosses. It's much more than that. And if you do this for 99, if you do this for 7 times, getting ahead is 99% probability. What does it show actually? It shows your job search strategy that if you keep on applying in the right way and you keep on getting missed, there will be a certain time where getting a success is a certainty with almost 99%. But if you leave it in the initial stage, first stage, stage, third stage, you will not be able to get to a point where you are bound to have a success. One of the key reasons that I would say, although Manoj is a very talented guy, but one of the key reasons that I would say for his success is his repeated attempts. If he would have lost the count at 700 or 800, he would not have got the job at all. He had lot of major issues in his profile and personalities that he could not have got there. Persistence is the key. You can note down these things. Consistency and persistence is going to get you where you want. If you can't measure this, you can't manage it. You have to measure your job strategy, your job applications. It is extremely important. So your job tracker should have that. You should have a big board lying just in front of your table, the date when you want to get a job. I would say that today is 4th of May. You do make it something like June, July, August, or 4th of August or 2nd of August is the day that when you want to have a job in your hand. Put a date inside and work backwards, that cancel out each day and evaluate yourself each day what I have done. When I used to go to bed, I used to evaluate the things, how many jobs I have applied, how many people I have connected, how many people I have met, whether I have changed my sales pitch by connecting on the LinkedIn, or I have been able to change any of my training, my certifications, or how I'm getting on to the job search. That is my daily evaluation I did at each day. Okay, I'll quickly, and this is something that is extremely important for all of you guys. Next thing I will say is that using the right tool. So I'll talk about the tools that I'm going to talk about this. Then I'll hand over the mic to Hema. Then I'll again talk about a few things about networking and elevator pitch. I'll get back to Amit again, and then I'll conclude the things and take your questions. So that will be the thing. How many of you, and speak very freely and frankly, how many of you use ChatGPT for customizing the CV? Come on, anyone can speak up. No. One
Yes, sir.
person raised their hand.
Yes.
Three people raised their hand. Let me see that. That's very important. I would like to see who. Seven. Oh my goodness. Bhumika also saying that 16. Oh my God. Too many people are using 20, 21. I don't know the count. I'm losing the count now. A lot of people are using ChatGPT to customize your CV. Okay. Maybe I'll do a screen sharing session in the next session. I'll talk about what is the fatal errors that ChatGPT does. Oh, Gemini. So whether you are using Gemini or Microsoft Copilot or you are using ChatGPT, they all are the same. This is called as a stupid AI. Okay, maybe stupid is not the AI. The commands that you can give, they usually go wrong. And I personally use ChatGPT and I have used ChatGPT Plus. Okay, good, Vijay. So the problem with all these AIs is that suppose let's take an example over here. If Amit is going to my wedding, for example, Amit is going to go back to Amit will get along with Hema and they all go back to Arnott's. They will buy a suit and they will come to my wedding. Will you? Very well. But I'm not getting wedded. Okay. But suppose it's Amit's wedding and it's Hema's wedding together, not together, but on a separate occasion on separate days. Do you think that they will go to Airnots and buy a suit, or they will go to a tailor and have a tailor fit made suit? What would they do? Okay. Most likely, as I know every one of you, some of you actually, they will not buy a suit from Airnots. They are going to go back to a tailor and have a custom made suit because the occasion is extremely important. The same thing happens with ChatGPT or any other AI tool. I have used it hundreds and hundreds of times. ChatGPT or any AI tools are very good to bring you up to 50, 60, 70%, but they cannot bring you more than 90% for sure because ChatGPT and AI tools are for generic use. The customization, what they will do, will be good enough, but this will not be near perfection state. They will not be able to do that. What they are going to do, then algorithm will see that what are the things the job description has, what are the things you have, and they are going to do a little bit of best fit match. That's all what they do. But when you customize the CV as per the job description, you can add the new things that you have not mentioned in the CV. You will see that the new things that you can do that can be added over there. I will take a personalized, I'll take a separate video recorded session over this where we are going to take a job description, we'll take a CV, and we'll take that how does the chat GPT does it and how would we do it as a custom made practice. And that will be way different. If you don't know how to do this, come back to the next session. We are going to do that together. That's one thing. Do not use this. Some people use job analytics and some people use job scan. Job analytics and job scan are worse than ChatGPT for sure. So they are even worse than that. I really don't recommend that. I would say that if you're not getting results, start looking back at the job description, see the industry, and when you are customizing the CV, you don't need to take the keywords and put down across in the CV as word. For example, let's take an example of a data analyst. In the data analyst, they are mentioning about Power BI dashboards. Very common thing. Most likely, you will have the Power BI dashboards into your CV already if you're a data analyst. But now see the context. The data analyst role is for a healthcare group who's providing healthcare. Okay, you have not been there in the healthcare industry at all. You have been into technology or consulting or anywhere. Okay, so you first need to say that in the healthcare domain, what do you know of? If you don't have experience, sell your knowledge about that particular industry, but talk about this. Understand that human review comes later, AI review comes first during the ATS. So if it is healthcare mentioned, you need to mention somewhere healthcare in your CV, otherwise it will be rejected. The ATS or the machine will reject it then and there. So I'm not saying, and you should never manipulate your CV, but you should articulate your CV in the best match. You should put forward that how does tool is looking at your CV and whether you are overpowering that tool or not. So talk about the industry. Then talk about that what and go back to their Twitter accounts, their website, their CEOs, podcast or anything, and look back what they are looking at. For example, if someone is looking at Amazon, the first and foremost thing they are looking at the customer centricity. If you're writing an Amazon CV, you are not talking about customer leading or customer centricity, you are not marking down very good on that. It has to be there. Then if it's for healthcare industry, you need to talk about the healthcare part, that at least you have a knowledge of that, and you need to put some keywords. Okay, if you're into HR and if you have the HR data analyst, that you need to talk about that you analyze the TTF, which is time to fill rate, or attrition redundancy rate, or you need to talk about some industry jargons. People say that you don't need to use jargons, good enough. But these words are not jargons, these are technical terminologies. I would say that don't use jargons, but use technical terminologies with respect to your job description, because if they have put in the jargons or technology terminologies into the job description, it is no longer a foreign language for you, it is a keyword for you. Okay, that is what is absolutely needed. And I would say that rely less on the automatic tools, they may not give you there. Rely more on your, instead of chat gpt, use your mind gpt. Your mind gpt will be much more better than your chat gpt one. But if you are running out of time, if you're applying 20 jobs a day, go back to chat gpt, use whatever you want to do over there, but at least for important jobs, use your mind gpt. Okay, now I will hand over to Heba and for his words and his insights, and then we'll talk about to Amit, and then I'll come back again. Over to you, Heba.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Raghav. Yeah, I get this a lot, right? Whenever I say 6 to 7,000 jobs applied, and I have a screenshot in my LinkedIn, which I believe that shows around the number that I have applied for jobs during that time. So yeah, what went wrong, right? So I was so into getting a job within my 2 years, 1G, stamp 1G, and stuff like that, and I see my friends getting jobs during that time. So what I did was the first thing what didn't work for me is like mass applying, obviously, like uh, uh, I did not have a role in mind. I did not know what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, and stuff like that. And I used to blame everything on the Irish job market because it's much easier to do than blaming myself, right? So these are the three worst things that I've done in my job career at all. So the first thing I did after 3 months or 4 months into aggressive applying is that like uh, I started analyzing what the market needs at that point of time. So what I did was I effectively went into LinkedIn, and then I scraped job descriptions from LinkedIn. I have the scraping code in my LinkedIn if someone is interested. So what I did was, so for any data analyst or data scientist roles which I'm targeting for, so what are the skills that are required? I mean, what are the most used terms in these job descriptions for data analysts and then data scientists? So that's where I started first. So once I figured that I wanted to get into a data roles because for so and so reasons, I my once I fixed my target role, I went into LinkedIn and then I saw what they wanted, what the job market wanted, and then I started first learning these courses. So it doesn't have to be a huge learning process, right? Especially SQL, just it takes some 6 to 8 weeks, and then even Python, same. If you are not a beginner, if you know some coding and stuff like that. So what I did was I started learning these first, and then then I started applying for individual roles, trying to understand what the company needs, what the role needs, and then trying to connect with the same folks in that company. If I'm targeting for a data analyst role or business intelligence engineer role at Amazon, I used to connect with the business intelligence engineers in Amazon and then ask them how they do it, what they do, and stuff like that, and then prepare my CV, not both. So you don't have to do it for every single job, right? Once you do it for 10 to 20 jobs, you kind of understand what the recruiters need. You kind of understand what the hiring manager needs. You kind of understand what the market needs in short term. So that's what have been worked tremendously for me. So from having continuous rejections to, at one point of time in 2021, I had offers from Google, Amazon, and Meta and Microsoft, which are big tech in Dublin. And from having getting rejected even for internships which pays, I'm not sure, 22 to 28K. I had all these huge big tech opportunities in front of me within 3 months itself. So it doesn't have to be magical, right? Every step that doesn't have to be magical. It can be short steps. Try to understand yourself, and then each person has their own strengths and stuff like that. So uh, in my starting career journey, I used to stammer a lot, even now I stammer and then stuff like that. So I used to blame everything on my stammering. And then, like every other NRI here, I used to blame that they don't want to hire non-EU. And then, it's just because I'm a non-EU, they don't want to hire me, especially if I see a panel of Europeans or Americans. I feel that I'm already kind of excluded out of the conversations because I love cricket and they love, Europeans love football and stuff like that. I cannot interact with them is what I felt like. I'm being heavily excluded of these conversations and stuff like that. But the teams I work with in Google, I'm the only Indian. Even though Google is very Indian heavy, even though Google has very Indian heavy teams. Same with Meta, I'm the only Indian in my team. Even the hiring process, everyone is non Indian. So it's very easy to blame yourself, or it's very easy to blame the market, right? But it's not about blaming. It's about understanding your strengths, what you are very good at, and then constructing a story around yourself. And then these things is what like what worked for me. I know someone is asking about cooling period. Yeah, I know about this. Right? Different companies have different cooling period, as soon as I know. That's what is another negativity with mass applying, right? Every company has cooling period, and then once you apply and then they get rejected, they have certain cooling periods as well. So that's what I don't want anyone to do. Don't mass apply like how I did it. At one point of time, I even had a bot at LinkedIn which auto applies for all of easy applies in LinkedIn. So that's a very simple bot. I think LinkedIn blocked it 6 months ago, but you can still do it. So, but don't do all these things, right? Don't mass apply first thing, and then try to understand your strengths. Try to find your role that works for you, that works for your strengths, and that you love to enjoy and stuff like that. And then go from there is what worked for me. And then that's pretty much what I wanted to share, to be honest.
Very well, Manoj. And one of the key important points that I can summarize from your story is that focus on your upcoming things. Don't focus on your weaknesses. Focus on what you can offer to people. Where everybody will have some weakness or the other. Manoj had a stammering problem. I had some other problem, although I have to figure out. But I would have hundreds of problem. And impatience is one of the key things that I have. Very impatient, very good sometimes, very bad sometimes. So some people have the visa issues. Some people have the lack of experience issues. So you cannot control which is beyond your domain. Just forget about it. Look back what you can control and what you can do the best. That's one of the thing that you, and one of the major thing that you have mentioned about is consistency and persistence. There is a long patience over here. You have to be consistent, you have to be patient. Nothing is impossible. Manoj has went through Google and Facebook where people would like to kill for. People will kill for going back to this master giants. And Manoj has did it. Despite having his innate problems, he did that. So I would say that it's an inspiring story. Thank you so much, Manoj. Amit, I would invite you to the dais now, and if you can talk about your story and what you would like to tell to people who are so basic. Our problem with our uh, attendees is that they are applying to a large number of jobs and they are not getting a suitable amount of response from the market. What can they do? And when you were facing the same problem, what did you do to get into JPM or some big brands like AWS and all?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks, Raghav. And good to hear your story, Hema. Interesting, a lot of sorry, a lot of interesting anecdotes and data coming out of your story. Um, so I'll share a little bit my journey first, and then I'll talk about a few best practices which I applied in my job search and what you can learn out of my journey and my best practices. Right. So unlike Hima, I never applied for like thousands of jobs. Right? So I actually came from Glasgow to Dublin. So I was working in Glasgow, and I wanted to work in Dublin. At that point of time, in 2019, I applied for, I think, hundreds of jobs, not thousands, but hundreds of jobs across different companies: Google, Meta, Facebook, Meta slash Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, JP Morgan, Citi, Salesforce, HubSpot, like a lot of big brands which are in and around city center. In Dublin, I tried to apply for all of them, and multiple jobs, like senior engineer, principal engineer, software engineer, whatever was possible. Um, but then, like, for a few months, 2-3 months, I was not receiving any calls. The reason could be that I was based in Glasgow, right? They might have been preferring the candidates in based in Dublin, so that could have been one of the reason. But then I used to talk. I had one mentor in Glasgow, and I used to talk to my mentor quite a lot, and used to get the feedback on my CV. What should I put in my CV? And to the point Raghav mentioned, like your CV should be is sellable, right? It should be a sellable CV. So I learned from my mentor that you modify your CV according to the job description, but obviously don't manipulate the CV and don't put false information there, but try to frame it in a manner that it that recruiters and hiring managers, when they see your CV, they get attracted to it and invite you for the interview, at least for the first call, right? So I got the first interview call from JP Morgan in Dublin, and luckily I cleared their 4 rounds of interviews, and then I joined JP Morgan in December 19 in Dublin. So after that, I worked in JP Morgan for about 2.5 years. I was having some issues with my work. I was not finding my work challenging, and then I started looking around again. I applied for companies like Amazon Web Services, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Workday, Deloitte, and a few others. So EY as well, Raghav. Right? So I applied for all those companies. I I got offered from Amazon and Microsoft. I was rejected by Meta and Google through the interviews. But the good thing about myself was that I was invited for interviews by all those 4 companies. I was rejected by Meta and Google, but I could clear Amazon and Microsoft. And why I could clear Amazon and Microsoft? Because I was rejected by Google and Meta. The learnings which I took from that rejection helped me to get into Amazon and Microsoft offer. So here I'm talking about journey, but now I want to yeah, then I joined Amazon Web Services as solutions architect. Worked there for about 1 year and 4 months, and then I came back to JP Morgan again. I was having some uh, like I was not getting enough challenges again in that work at Amazon Web Services. And I don't like too much of sales element as well, because my work was a lot of attached to sales. So I tried to get back to fully technical technology work. Uh, and again, I tried to search for the jobs. One of the advantage I had that I was already working at JP Morgan, so they quickly invited me for interview. But I also applied at lot of other companies like Fidelity Investments, uh, Google again, and Workday, Deloitte again. But I did not receive few interview calls. I received a few interview calls from uh, Workday, from JP Morgan again, from Deloitte as well. So these are the companies I was invited. I again had 2, 3 offers, and I chose JP Morgan back again. Right? But the best practices which I want to share with all of you. So first thing, choose the target job boards, right? Don't go, in my opinion, like at all the job boards, like you choose your target job boards. For example, you want to target using LinkedIn, right? You want to target using company websites and a few other mediums which can help you to go into like the interview process, right? Quicker. Also, the target the jobs which you really want to be in. Sometimes one mistake which I made, I'll give you an example. I was applying for a job at Workday. So I applied for a senior engineering manager role, and I also applied for a principal engineer role as well at Workday. So that actually conflicted because I was not clear that do I want to go into an individual contributor role or do I want to go into a management role. So I got a call from recruiter a few days later after both the applications were submitted. And recruiter asked me question like, what is your goal? Do you want to go into management or do you want to go into individual contributor? And I was not very well able to articulate what I wanted. Right. So, and then they did not invite me for any of those openings after that first recruiter call. So this is one of the learning that you have to be clear with what you want, right? You don't apply for like every bit and pieces, every type of job. Right? That is what one learning which I got out of. So target your jobs. You want to be engineer, you target your engineer. It's not necessarily just one type of job. It could be multiple type of jobs, but don't go for everything. Like if you want to be engineer, don't just apply for a business analyst role, right? If you want to be that is what I mean, right? Don't go completely opposite in opposite directions. uh, Second best practice, and second thing which I did, I attended some job events in Dublin city center and around Dublin city center, job fairs and job events. So we also at JP Morgan run job events and job fairs, and we invite a lot of candidates who are looking for jobs and who want to get sense of what we do at JP Morgan, what are the opportunities available at JP Morgan. So try to attend those events. It helps you build that network of people, and also it gives you an opportunity to have those referrals through that network of people. So this is one of the thing I did. I made some friends, right? I asked them to um, give me a referral in their company. um, and to be very honest, like if someone reaches out to me for referral, I quickly do it, because if they get selected and they get like they complete their probation period, I get a bonus, right? I get money for my referral. So I'm always happy to apply for referral for people in my company. Also personally recommending to the hiring managers as well. So feel free to like put link in my LinkedIn if you want to get referred, right? So I'll be happy, and I think most of the people will happy because they'll get money, right? And they will also help people grow their career. So two motivations here, right? Growing career for people, and also you get some bonus out of it. So no, I never hesitate to apply for to put referrals for people. Another one I think Raghav already covered is an effective resume or effective CV. Um, and I think Raghav has already covered in previous sessions that CV best practices, how do you write it? But one key practice which I follow, I want to emphasize on that. So I follow the data-driven CV or data-driven resume. which drives my professional journey all into multiple jobs. So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say you are a software engineer. So in your accomplishments or in your job responsibility, you mentioned um, I created a microservice using Java and Spring Boot and any other technologies, right? So so what different actually have you put in your resume by using this line, right? In my opinion, nothing really. Your resume or CV needs to be differentiator. So you can put something like I created a microservice using Java and Spring Boot which solved XYZ business problem for the company or for the project or for the team, and it uh, or it saved, let's say, 40% of efforts for other people. So try to articulate the business problem not in too many words, but in that simple sentence that this is what you did. When I started following this practice, I started receiving more interview calls, like comparative compared to before, when I was not using this data-driven practice. Personalized cover letter is another important practice. So when you apply for jobs, try to use a personalized cover letter. You can, like, sometimes we copy paste the cover letters. It is okay, like if it is very similar type of jobs, but in case there are different technologies involved or different responsibilities involved, try to frame your cover letter in a personalized manner so that hiring manager and recruiters are aware of that why you are interested in this particular job. I personally hire people, I've been a hiring manager in my career, and I look at personalized cover letters as well. uh, Along with the recruiter, when I'm on a recruiter call, I try to go through resume plus also the personalized cover letter what candidates have written. uh, One other aspect which I want to highlight is, it may not be true, right? It's my observation. Whenever I apply for applications on Friday afternoon, most of the time I never receive the call on those applications. I don't know, maybe recruiters sometimes they get lost as well. Like, you're applying on Friday afternoon, and then it may not be true. That it's my observation. That is why I'm sharing here. But they get
And
lost, right?
that's why, Amit, you remember that in the beginning of that call, I told them that to note down the timing that you have applied.
Exactly.
So at times, so there is nothing right and wrong here. It's an observation kind of thing. For example, I observed that whatever interviews I took on the Monday morning between 9 a.m. to 12 a.m., I never passed those interviews. So different people have those things, and some of
Yeah,
those interviews have been great. So there are different things. This may work well for people, this may not work well for. But the key thing is that have the data of these things. Very
absolutely.
important thing. When are you going to get when you are taking the interviews? When are you applying? For example, one quick thing that I will also say that I have been making a data for a bell curve. I've been in data. I'm making a bell curve for applications when they get viewed. So what I understand is that when if a job application has been opened on Monday, if you apply within 24 hours, it's good, but the probability of getting it viewed is little less. But
Yeah,
whereas if you apply within 24 to 48 hours of the job rollout, you
yeah.
have the highest bell curve
Highest.
probability to get the application reviewed. So this is just an observation. Amit had an observation. I had an observation. Similarly, you don't believe on these observations, but you try your own observations and find out what is your observation about it. It might help you very much.
Yeah, you can build
Over
the
to you, Amit.
patterns. Yeah. One last or actually just couple of points, and then I'll hand back to Raghav. uh, it is when you are invited for interview, right? It is important that you research about companies culture, values, and what business actually companies do, right? Because these things I also have found important in my interview process, that they ask questions around these, and they do not directly ask questions. Interviewer will not directly ask you what do we do, and what are our values, what is our culture. Like, they will try to assess you that do you fit for their culture and values or not, right? That's how. So it is important to understand, go to company's website and read about their culture and values. Last thing, do a lot of practice for interviews. Whenever you're appearing for interviews, sharpen your skills, whether it is technical, behavioral, or competency based. One practice which I used for behavioral interviews, which I and because of that I was able to crack Amazon's 6 rounds of interview. uh, Three were behavioral, three were technical, out of those six. what I did, I noted down all my projects in a notepad, like what in my career, whatever the projects I have worked, and then I try to create a matrix of those projects according to the situations. Let's say I'll get a question, right? Tell me about a scenario where you had faced a difficult customer. So I already mapped that question to this project, right? I know this project. I created a notepad, just went through that notepad before my behavioral interviews, uh, and that helped me to answer all the behavioral questions, because in three behavioral interview rounds I received, I think, 5 multiplied 3, 15 behavioral interview questions. So all those 15 situations I had pretty much ready, that if this type of question come in, this is the project where I will fit my answer. uh, this is the practice I used to clear Amazon interview, and I learned this from Google and Meta rejections as well, right? So uh, yeah, that is all I wanted to share. I'll hand it back to Raghav, and I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has any questions, or feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you would like. One other thing before Raghav comes in. So I am currently hiring. Actually, not I'm not directly hiring, but my director, my senior director, is hiring in JP Morgan for security engineer 2 position, which requires more than 3 years of experience in the industry. You could be Java, AWS, Python. If you have these type of skills or interest in security, cloud security, feel free to send me your resume, and I can put that into an application for my the senior director. So
So one good thing is that I liked is that, guys, you must be knowing that you send connection request or you send networking request to 10 people, you only get a response here. But here you have got 3 out of 3 people. If you send us any connections or any network or any referrals, there is a big time likely chance that we guys will help you. Okay, and there will be more people coming in the next sessions as well. I'm getting a lot of responses from multiple companies. Next session will have people coming from Google as well, and then other multiple peoples as well in different domains: digital marketing, sales, data analysis, technology, and others. So keep up coming in, and if you need anything from Hema or Amit, once again, I hope so they will be gracious enough to come back again to help you guys. So they are very kind. And if you want to say thank you to any one of us or anyone, because it is requiring a lot of efforts and time, and I'm happy that both these young guys have taken up their weekends off and coming back to us instead of going back from hiking. If you really want to say thank you, I've just put in the link for our Google review to say thanks. If you can just uh, do a Google review for all our efforts. In return, we have all the people doing the Google reviews will send you a PDF version of, so all the recording that we have done for this call, we are going to summarize that into a PDF version. That will be a very crisp summary for you to revise that what Manoj has said, what Amit has said, and what I have said, how to get back into the job tracker, job strategy, what are the persistence and what are the consistency you would need, what are the data points people are looking at, where Amit could help you, where Manoj could help you, where I can come in. So I will just prepare a PDF document and send it across to you for everyone who would do a small Google review for us. And if you want to say thanks, you do that. I've sent the link into the chat section of this. And before I go, I just want to take one quick thing. I would like to share my screen and talk about how you actually customize your CV. This is a very important thing. And I want to take it a live session over here. It won't take much time.
Sir,
Say
just one
someone.
question. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
I would
yes.
like to know where you can apply for jobs. What are the websites like LinkedIn or any other thing where we can apply, or we can directly visit to the company website? That is one question. And second question is like on LinkedIn, how you can get more job roles, relatable job roles, how you can customize your LinkedIn profile or also. That would be really great. Just a quick like 2 or 3 minutes explanation.
Okay, so I think so. First answer can be done by Amit, and second answer I think so. Manoj would be the one of the best person to go for any of these. Okay, Amit, you start.
yeah, absolutely. So let's say if you have you have identified that you a company, let's say you want to apply for a job at Meta or ServiceNow or Workday, you can absolutely directly go into their website and directly apply from their website. So they uh, in my experience, I have found that if you apply from company website, there are more chances that you will be called by recruiter to have the first round of screening. Right? That is one aspect. So you can directly search their website on Google and go to that. And on the LinkedIn, those these days, like all those opportunities, job opportunities are also marketed on LinkedIn as well. So when you go through LinkedIn, they will also take you to the company website most of the times, right? Some companies directly have
The
an easy apply
only
option.
thing, the only thing you should not do is LinkedIn easy apply.
Yeah, that
That's avoidable.
yeah, exactly. So you go through LinkedIn, you go to company website, and then you can apply from there as well. Uh, Hema, you want to answer the second part?
Oh
Anything
yeah.
Hema from your side?
Yeah, and quickly touch on the first one as well. Like, what happens with LinkedIn and then all other job sites is they just usually scrape company websites, like, job descriptions and then, job data anyway, if the company is not posting directly on LinkedIn, obviously. So if you have some target companies in mind, right? So if you know that you want to get into Google or if you want to get into Amazon and stuff like that, and you know their values and then you know their core values and then it's highly aligning with you, do a like a quick check of their career links saved somewhere, and then like try opening that once in a week or like once in a month, whatever it is, and then like that way what will happen is that these job scrapers might have missed something. That's one thing, obviously, and then you might see these jobs much earlier than LinkedIn and then stuff like that. If you have any company in mind and you know that like some hiring is happening in those companies and stuff like that, only like if you're specifically targeting companies and stuff like that. And that's obviously first thing. And for the second question, right, how do I optimize my LinkedIn so that like recruiter views and then like gets good marks for that? The only thing is that try to expand your job summaries if you have something great to say in your career. For example, I've worked on so and so projects and stuff like that. That's obviously one thing. And then don't only search for job titles like every single time in your LinkedIn search or whatever it is. Just try to search for skills as well. Like sometimes you have SQL and then Python skills, and then you are targeting for data analyst jobs. Business intelligence is actually data analyst version of Amazon, and then like data intelligence engineer is what some other companies hope for. So skills and then job titles are not like highly coupled with recruiters, and sometimes recruiters would be using just old titles which is not relevant anymore. Sometimes data scientist jobs is pretty much what the data analyst does, and then like so just don't blindly go with the titles. Just try to couple it with skills, and then try to like add the skills you have in your LinkedIn, and then try to expand your job descriptions, or not only a laundry list of your jobs. Try to expand your skills, and then what I've done in that company in your LinkedIn, that highly gives you visibility.
One more
All right.
question.
Good
Do
enough.
the referrals work in Ireland? Let's say, for example, I have some friend in like in that company, and does they work? And second thing is, like, how does the referral work? Like, do I tell my, like, is it I don't know, apply and then tell my friend, or then he can refer to the company? How does it work in Ireland?
Any of you?
Oh yeah, the first thing is, if I'm being bluntly honest with you, right? Nowadays, referral is kind of perfectly everything. For example, I receive referrals for the same job, like at least 4 or 5 people reach out to me for the same job, and then my colleagues as well and stuff like that. And often, uh, if you see any job at Meta, this is an internal data anyway, which we shared recently outside as well. And on average, for a job at Meta, there were 9 referrals for a single job. So, and only one of them gets a job, and it might not be the referral instead. So, what I wanted to say is, like while you are asking someone to refer, right? If you are close enough to them, ask them to put in a word with the hiring manager as well. That highly works. Like if you feel that you are perfect fit for this job, so reach out to your connection and then explain them why you are a perfect fit, and then like they might not have all the time, right? So just write a message to them on how to explain this to hiring manager. Oftentimes we just modify it and then try to send it to hiring manager. As like Amit was saying, it benefits you and then it benefits us as well in two perspectives. One is like you help someone in your career, and then like that is a huge booster, and then yeah, obviously you get some money. out of the referral ones as well. So we want to help you, and then and then you want to get a job. So just reach out to your connection and then explain what you want. And if it's a perfect fit, if the role is a perfect fit for you, explain why it's a perfect fit to to your connection. And then if they can ask your connection, if they can reach out to the hiring manager, that largely helps.
Okay,
Raghav, I have
right.
one question.
Thank you so much.
Just before you go, just one quick thing over this. I just want to add up something. Although there is no official statement from any of these companies that the referrals are better or they will prefer referrals or something, but logically, it is very much understood that if there are two candidates, one is with referral and one is without referral, obviously the weightage will go back for referral for obvious reasons. So I would say that if you have the referral, always go with the referral. But the referral is giving you a referral request after 7 days. Do not wait. Timing is more important than referrals. Okay, so if you have a referral, make sure that you are chasing him out. And if the referral can connect you back to the hiring manager or a referral can speak to the hiring manager, it will be a game changer for anyone. Okay,
Just
that's the
30
two things.
seconds, just 30 seconds, Raghav, on this topic. So when I receive a referral, what I do, so if obviously depends on like I'm coming from LinkedIn or coming from a very close person, like obviously I don't do that partiality as of now, but when it's coming from LinkedIn to me, what I do, I read the resume, I put into referral system in my company's referral system, and if I find resume and the job description which I received the referral for a very good match, I send an email, a personalized email to hiring manager that I received this referral. Can you please consider for the round of interviews? That is how I take it, right? If I don't
That
find
is
resume, if I don't find resume very much matching, then sometimes I just put into the system and I don't speak to hiring manager because I also lose my credibility of resume is
credibility.
not matching
Absolutely.
to job description, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, good enough. Any other questions anybody have? I see that there is some question on the chat window. What should be the strategy for people with experience between 3 to 5 years? What should be the focus point to cover up the experience? I do not get this question that well. What exactly Anjum Agrawal is saying? What should be the strategy for people with experience 3 to 5 years? What should be the focus point to cover up for the experience? Anjum?
Hi Raghav. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
Anjum. So
yes,
the
Anjum.
challenge which I am facing right now in my job hunt is very much about the experience, because for a person like me with 3 to 5 years of experience, it's a bit more for a fresher and entry level positions. So I'm not being considered for them, and it's not enough for for a position which is associate level or something like that. So, how do you think I should modify my CV or my cover letter in a way, and what should I put it as a focus point in my cover letter or CV so that it covers up on my experience or lack of experience, or that kind of window. So the recruiter or hiring manager who is reviewing my CV focus on something else and still consider me.
Anjum, you have 3 years of experience or you have 5 years of experience?
I have three. I'm on the lower ground of that range. Yeah.
You have 3 years of experience and your full name is Anjum Agrawal, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going through your LinkedIn profile over here, although I don't have your CV.
Mhm.
Okay. So a couple of things that if you have 3 years of experience, so 3 years experience is not a less experience. Okay. Don't worry on that. But
Mhm.
yes,
Exactly.
if you have five, it is a great because you are into fully
Mhm.
good job market. But even if you have 3 years of experience, that's good enough. And you have some good names like Dell and other things as well. Okay. What
Mhm.
you need to do here, just understand that you need to focus on a couple of things. What
Mhm.
projects, for example, if I go back to your LinkedIn profile, and I hope so that your LinkedIn profile is a reflection of your CVA only. Okay. So I
Yes.
see the
Yeah.
things like you are focusing on handling the data, altering, updating the tables, creating the dashboards on Tableau. Now understand myself as a recruiter or not recruiter, hiring manager's point of view. I really don't care much about recruiter's point of view. I only care about the hiring manager's point of view. So suppose I am hiring for my company and I'm looking at your profile, the first thing that I'm going to do is I see your CV and I find that handling that. Would you mind if I share my screen and your profile?
Yes. Yes. Please do. Yeah.
it is in front of everyone. Are you okay with that, or shall I just speak while reading your CV, reading your profile?
Um, no,
Okay, I'll just
you can share the screen. Yeah, I don't mind.
okay. All right. So what I get over here, let me share if you don't mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let it be. I don't want to be this thing. I'll just read it over here. So you have
Okay.
mentioned in your profile like handling the data, creating and editing stored procedures, creating Tableau dashboards, configuring intelligence model builder, this and this. So this is called as task-based CV.
Yeah.
Okay, people are not going to pay you for the task that you have been doing. People will pay you for the achievements that you are going to bring. What is the impact of the work? For example, if I am handling the data, I am updating the tables as per the business needs. What were these business needs? For example, I would describe myself as I was working for the leading retail giant in Ireland, and I help them in doing the prescriptive and descriptive analytics to take a competitive edge, resulting into a repeat customers of 25% against 12% in the previous 3 years. And I did this by doing the EDA's exploratory data analysis, by creating some data pipelines and doing some data governance practices. I did for I built up the automated dashboards for measuring the content and the KPIs for the people who did. And I sourced the data from different channels. And also I did the social listening to understand what people are talking about. If people are not getting as a repeat customers, there has to be some noise over there, that why people are coming to one particular retail store and not going them repeatedly again and again. Is there a problem with the customer services? Is there a problem with their products, or is there a problem with the pricing? So what I see in your profile is that you are not trying to bring the solutions, you are just trying to bring a task. So hiring managers have this kind of thing, that this is the do as told person. So your profile is appearing as a do as told person, that you are being told to do something and you are doing the things. If you really want to get into the eyes of the attention of the employers, you need to showcase yourself, that you are an opportunity for people. So you talk about what solutions you have brought forward, what projects you have worked, what results you have created. Just understand, guys, one very important thing that you all need to write it down and link down. Results are important, efforts are not. Nobody cares about the efforts. If Manoj would have applied for 7,000 jobs and he would have not landed up in Google or Facebook, everybody would have called him a fool, that he does not know what he's doing in. But he has got the results, and now everybody is appreciating him, that he was so consistent, he was so persistent. Now, see the perception over here. Results are rewarded, efforts are not. Your profile, your LinkedIn profile, your CV is purely based on the efforts. Okay, probably this could be a failure point. Please do not mind me criticizing you over here. Okay, but this
No,
is
no,
the
it's
area where you can
I
improve.
appreciate that.
Okay, this is the
Okay.
area where you can improve. I'll not take more time on that. Any other questions before we wind up? No more. Okay, so guys, thank you so. Someone
I
has
I
a
have
have a
one
doubt.
quick
Okay, yes,
question.
finish.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I have a
as
question.
like as I
One
approach
person at a
seniors,
time.
sorry, should I speak? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, as I was approaching my seniors for like how do you guys get jobs and what we should prefer. So one advice came from them like what job you have previous field experience in, just go for it, and what first job you will get, just grab that and then look for another what you want. So what is your opinion on these things? Like if I like for example, my experience is morely based on sales, but I don't want to continue in that, and I want to switch to something like product marketing or like consulting fields. So it's like it is quite tricky for me to switch, but I don't want to end up being like a salesperson again. So in this case, like people are advising like just go for sales job as of now and let like figure it out later. So what is your opinion on such things? Like how
Amit and
should be
Manoj,
my
can I
approach?
answer this first and then you can answer yours? I
Sure,
don't want to
sure.
influence anyone. Okay. So you have a very typical problem, and I'll give answer in one word. Okay. If I have to go to China, I won't take a flight to Japan. So what you are
Yeah.
answering, you have answered your own question. If you want to go to Japan, go to Japan. Don't take a flight to China. There is absolutely no way you can match it, unless the only failure point that could happen is survival mode. Everybody has to enter a survival mode at some point of time. If you think that it is end of life here, you're not able to survive in Ireland if you don't do a sales job, then go back to the fallback mode. Otherwise, I would seriously say that no matter what you have to do is go back where your flight goes on. If a flight that starts from, I'll repeat it again, if a flight that starts from New Delhi to New York deflected 1 degree, just 1 degree, it ends up in New Jersey. It does not end up in New York. So I will say that focus on the things first. First, decide your right goals. Are you fit to be in product marketing? Do you have the skills? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the courage to fight long for a long battle for product marketing? If yes, your answer is clear. Just go back to that. But if you
Yeah.
can't, and if you're already into a survival mode, you don't have any money, you don't have any backup support, you don't have anything to support you for next 3 months. You have money less than of net like last 3 months of survival. Go back for sales. Otherwise, my had I been in your place, I would have gone back to my real goals for the purpose I entered into Ireland. I hope myself clear. Anyone else, if you want to jump
Yeah.
in? Otherwise, next question
I
somebody
have
has.
a question. Yes. So,
Correct.
the only so my question is, I want to understand something when writing our CV. You mentioned here in Ireland, experience is more important than educational background. So, I think for every role that we're applying for on our CV, our experience should always come first before our education.
Yes. Any of these, Amit and Hema, if you would like to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll take a quote here, right? So when I used to work for Amazon, Amazon CTO has a quote that there is no compression algorithm for experience. He has a quote that there is no compression algorithm for experience. So as experience, education is important, but having on-field experience is, in my opinion, is much and more important than education. Education can help you uh, build that experience, and then that experience can help you in building a good career going forward. That is what I would say. And in Ireland, obviously, um, in my opinion as well, like recruiters, hiring managers, I also as a hiring manager, if you have, let's say, and please don't mind this, like you have some nice masters from a nice university, but you have a 1 years of experience, working experience, and the candidate, another candidate who comes to me and has a 5 years of working experience but does not have, let's say, a masters from a good, very reputed university, uh, I try to consider obviously the 5 year experienced person, because he has some nice skill sets already built in on the field, right? But at the same time, it's not that I would, not give the opportunity to 1 year experience with the master. I may find some other suitable opportunity for him to grow his career or his her career, right? That is how I take it.
Okay, good enough. And next question, if I would see here, just give me 1 second. I'll see if there is any other question. Kanishk has said that. Kanishk, have we answered your question? No. So Kanishk has said that 3 years of experience, it is good idea to find a small company which has IT or data analyst, so I can get into Irish experience. If so, where I can find these jobs in small companies? I'll give a quick answer to that. And next question will be taken up by Manoj. And I would say that Kanishk, you can go back to Enterprise Ireland website. Okay, you will find some data over there for small companies and startups. You can also reach out to Dogpatch Labs. Dogpatch Labs is the incubator for startup companies. So you can find some data of the companies that were there as well. Otherwise, the easiest way is go to the Google and search for the SMEs and startups in last 2 or 3 years. You'll Last time I did the search a couple of days ago, I got 600 results, which will be a good quota for you a couple of days. So you can go it over there. It is a very good option to go back for small companies if the big companies are not taking you in. All right, Kanish. Okay. I
Raghav,
have
I
carry
have
on.
one question. So while applying
This is
referrals, this is Raghu.
Raghu. You just raised your hand. Yes, Raghu.
Yeah,
Carry on.
so while applying
You
referrals,
Raghu, I Raghu, both are Raghu. So I'll answer your question then. Okay.
yeah, thank you. So while applying referrals, we need to find the potential connections, right? So we can't go and blindly connect with all the people. Uh, we might not know, they might not using the LinkedIn. So it will be a lot of wastage of time. we might not get a referral at the end. So I want to know how to find a potential referrals. Is there any way for that?
Very good. Do you know the site refermeet.com?
No, no, Raghav.
Okay, so there is a site which is called as refermeet.com. This is a referral site. Only those people sign up on this. Like, for example, you say that Amit and Manoj, they both have the mindset to refer. Whereas in LinkedIn, there are a large number of people who don't have a mindset to refer. So there's a portal called ReferMeet. If you go back, it is open only for the referrals as of now. Okay.
Okay.
So they will be opening up their operations maybe next 7 days for the referees as well. That means people who are job seekers. But as of now, they are collecting more and more referrals who have the mindset to refer people. You can just have a visit on the site. I think so. They have logged in the job seeker part. But Amit and Hima, you can log in as a referrer
Sure.
and set up your profile. So there are portals like this, and you can go back to these portals and you can select the candidate that you would like to get a referral on. These portals have meeting links as well, that if a referral, if Amit wants to talk to you, he can talk to you. You would have to put up your LinkedIn profile. You can see Amit's LinkedIn profile as well. You will be able to send the job ID, the job code, the CV, and the LinkedIn ID of yours. Then Amit will have a look at your profile, and he will get daily reminders up to 3 days to either give you yes, no, or yes, no mainly. And the good thing about this is that before connecting back to a person, you can check his profile, what is his record, that how many referral requests he has received, how many he has accepted, how many he has rejected, and how many he has ghosted. So you can use these kind of portals to go do that. Refer Meet is one of them. And till the time they have not opened the operations, I guess so that you will have to rely on LinkedIn and other portals as well. Okay. But maybe in a week's time, or maybe you can email the refermeet.com guys and ask them that when they are opening, on which date they are releasing this for job seekers as well. Okay. You can do
Okay,
that.
Raghav. And one
And
small question. So you are telling that we need to match the keywords, right? So is it should we need to match exactly like if you have skilled and we have skill? So if we just put skill, will it match with job description?
so
No.
it is very suboptimal. Most likely it will not make much impact. So that's what I was wanted to have a screen sharing session, but we miss out on the timing of that because we need to wind up the session next couple of minutes. So in the next session, I'll come back. You can share me your CV. I'll take your CV as a volunteer. I'll take your job role, and I will tell you that how we can do the CV customization. Most of the people do the same thing. They take the keyword, put in the skill section. This is not only suboptimal, but this is not fit to work as well. You need to add this as a flow in the work. Uh, shall I show it? Not. It will take some time if I do this. So basically, you need to match the industry. You need to go with the flow. You need to write the things into work experience as a lines. Then a few things in your career summary. Then main things into your skill section as well. That is how it will customize. I'll take a proper session next week to cover that up. All right. Someone is also raising the hand, but before that, I take up Bhumika. Bhumika saying that any strategy you could suggest to discover keyword which is being used by the recruiters to directly find the candidate's profile. Hema, Manoj, or Amit, anything that you would like to talk about? Bhumika saying that any strategy that you can talk to me that recruiters and hiring manager use to get from the candidate's profile.
Yeah, thank you, Raghav. Before that, I'll definitely answer this question. Someone, Rajat, have asked for regarding 2.5 years of experience at Deloitte and then currently studying business analytics from UCD. So I see a lot of questions regarding hey, I have 3 years and then 3 to 5 years of experience, and then in India, and then I come here, which job roles do I have to apply? Is it graduate roles, or is it mid experience roles, or which roles do I have to potentially target and stuff like that? I get a lot of these questions as well, right? Because I had exactly 3.5 years of experience in India, and then I came here. I had the same question as well. If I apply for graduate roles, will they see me as an experienced, overqualified person? And then if I apply for senior roles, will they see me as underqualified? What's that perfect landing role for me here in Ireland if I have that cliche experience between 2 to 3 or 2 to 5 in India? Short answer for this, is that when I had my mentor, he exactly said me one thing: just try to understand what your career goals are, and then what your skills are, understand yourself first, and then what you're good at, and then what you're not good at, and then try to target the roles here in Ireland. There is no right or wrong answer for it. Like, I saw people with 7 years of experience get into graduate roles here in Ireland, and I saw people with just 3 years of experience get into, like, mid-senior roles here in Ireland. There is no one single right or wrong answer, right? Just try to understand yourself, and then all our career journeys are, individually different, like, perfectly crafted for our own life. So just try to understand yourself, and then, like, get into the job market, and then apply for like, roles that you are kind of targeting. Don't worry about senior roles and then mid-senior roles or graduate roles. It's because that's what have perfectly worked for me. Try to meet the hiring managers, and then, like, even though the job description is senior data analyst, they were just looking for someone with 5 years of experience. I get this a lot. And then, even though the job role title is just a data analyst, it's the senior data analyst with, like, 8 to 10 years of experience. So don't worry about that, as unless they have prescribedly mentioned some sort of experience in their job descriptions. Just try to get into the job market, and then, like, apply to wide variety of roles, like, uh, on the role you are targeting. Meaning, like, if you're targeting data analyst, apply for business intelligence engineer, data analyst, and then don't worry too much about those cliche things like, is it junior, or is it senior, or is it mid junior, and stuff like that. That stops you from applying these two roles, and then, like, inhales your confidence. Don't do that, is what my suggestion, or at least that's what is kind of worked for me.
Okay, I will take the next question from Anvesha Ghoshal. But before that, I just have a special preference for all those people who have got their second year of 1G expiring in the next 6 months. If that is the case, and if you're not getting some roles, you please send your CV to review to us at connect@careerisland.com. I have mentioned the email ID in the chat window. Send it across. We'll have a call booked for you, and I'll come back. I or someone will come back, and they will give a quick review that can help you in terms of excel further. It will be one-on-one call for you, so you can do that. And Anvesha has the next question. Anvesha, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do actually. One of you mentioned that a lot of people reach out to you for referrals, right? So I'm assuming that you can refer to only one person per job role. I'm not sure how that works. So what do you see in a candidate who's approaching to you for a referral? How do you pick one out of those four people who reached out to you for a referral? Like picking people who stand out. How do you judge that online?
Yeah,
What do
the
you
first
guys?
thing. Oh yeah, sorry. The first thing I would look at is, like, the perfect fit to the job. I'm not a recruiter, but I'll try to see who is perfect fit, and then sometimes I get 2 to 3 perfect fits for a job role. I usually ask my colleagues, like, say, hey, I have a resume. I think these candidates are perfect for it. I can only refer one, and stuff like that. But usually there are a lot of mistakes in their resumes, right? So I try to refer one, and then for the remaining 3 people, if there are issues with their resumes, I try to connect with them personally. I schedule meetings with them, and then try to explain them why they are not perfect for fit for this job, and then how can I help them in their job search and stuff like that, is to not kind of disgrace them. But that's what I'm telling, right? I see if if the resume is perfectly fit to that job, and then sometimes I might be wrong, and then sometimes I might be right. But most probably just, like, if they're perfect fit, or if they have enough experiences in their resume and stuff like that.
I'll take a quick next question from Siddhi. Siddhi has mentioned that, and a lot of
Thank you.
you people will have this question. One pager's resume versus two-pager resume. Number one thing, there is no resume in Ireland. Okay, start calling it out like a CV. No resume in UK, Ireland, and rest of the Europe. We call it out as a CV, not a resume. Resume is an American, Canadian, Indian thing to do. Okay, so that you appear more local. Second thing is that if you have less than 2 years of experience, you would have a one-page CV. And the key reason is that you will not have too many things to talk about. And the worst thing in the CV could have is the blabbering of the things with no data points and anything that does not make sense. So all this data points which does not make sense needs to be discarded. But if you have 3 or more years of experience, I would personally believe that you should have a two-pager CV. And the key reason is that everything is ATS now. Everything is ATS. So if you have a two-pager CV, mathematically or probabilistically, you will have more keywords in a two-pager CV. So ATS will have more probability to keywords and pick up those keywords from your CV. So I would prefer that you should have 2 pages CV. But if you have 2 years, or if you're less than 2 years, or if you're a fresher, go back with 1 page, because you will be wasting some readers' time, which they would not like. Okay. I hope I have answered your question, Siddhi.
Yes, Raghav. I do have 2 years of experience, but then just to make my CV customized into a one-pager format, I didn't include like the skill section, the
Just
certification. So
understand one thing, Siddhi, that if you have to choose between brevity, which is conciseness, and quality, always choose quality over conciseness. Your CV
okay.
should be of a high quality, talking about your strengths, your projects, your work, your skills, your achievements. If it is not there and you are trying to make 1 page CV, you are no good to me. Because in one
Oh,
page, I will definitely say that, oh, it's a crisp CV, but it is no good to me because candidate hasn't done anything. So don't kill the Ravan, don't kill Makodas. Okay. So look at the bigger picture. All right.
okay.
So that's I would say, and I think so. It is time to wind up. If you have any questions, you can send us to the email to Career Island team at connect@careerisland.com. And guys, it was an amazing session, and thank you so much for the 90 minutes with Amit, Manoj, and all you lovely guys. I see that a large number of people joined in. And yes, what I will be doing is I'll be preparing a crisp summary of all the things that we have told them. I need to go back to listen to the recording. If you need a crisp summary of the PDF version, please do review us on Google. The link is already there in the chat window. Use that, and I'll take down all the names from the Google review and send you the PDF versions. Okay. And if you have less than 1G, if you have less than 6 months and 1G, please do come back to us. I'll give you a special preference so that you don't have to go back to the home country. Okay. All right. Wish you. And one more thing, I've seen a lot of people coming back to me mentioning that there has been some other career mentoring companies coming back to you and they are giving 1 month job guarantee, that though you come back to them and pay them 500 euros, you'll get a 1 month job guarantee. No such guarantee ever exists. No such guarantee ever exists. You are just a marketing data for those people, especially if people have not been international student or people who have not been understanding the international migration journey. They will not be able to understand that how does an immigrant have to face over here. Local people, that's absolutely no doubt, they may get job within 1 month, but international people really do have these things. So do not come back into these marketing tactics. If you need anything, you can come back to us, we'll support you. And if you have less than 1G, do come back, you will be on priority list. All right. Thank you so much, Manoj, Amit, and every one of you. And we'll catch up next week as well. Next week, my primary target is to go back and show you how to customize the CV as per the job role. Okay. All right. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Take care. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
and best of luck, everybody.
Best of
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Thank you.